Yep, we grew up in Chicago. Well, we like to say Chicago, but it was the near north suburbs. And Irwin was the cutest little thing I had ever seen. I fell in love with my baby brother the minute he was brought home from the hospital, and we were always close. We held hands a lot, and we did most things together, except for riding horses, which he insisted on doing alone. And we shared birthdays, and we shared lots of time with our family. Irwin loved all our relatives. We didn't just have 2 grandmothers, we had 2 great-grandmothers as well. We even had the coolest aunts that Irwin loved to call our groovy aunts. And it was right around this time that I believe Irwin decided to become a performer. But I digress.
Hello, I'm Irwin Keller. I'm gonna read the story about Are You My Mother? There's gonna be lots of what is this word because I don't know some words, and I'm 6 years old and I go to school. I'm in 1st grade. I'll start.
At a very young age, Irwin fell in love with all the food groups, and it stuck with him. And as much as I had hoped he would get in trouble making this nasty face, he never did. Life went on. Lots of Halloweens, lots of fun. And then I think Irwin started to hear some sort of calling, maybe some kind of service. Ah yes, a valiant Boy Scout. But it was right around this time that his Jewish roots were beginning to take hold. Maine East High School, graduating class 1978. And shortly after that would be Hebrew University, and his love affair with Israel would begin. Maybe it was here on this pyramid that Irwin decided he wanted to continue traveling and spend as much time outdoors as possible, considering we only had Keller picnics in the car. And while in law school at the University of Chicago, Irwin authored the Chicago Ordinance on Human Rights, which was passed into law January 1989. During this time, Irwin did all kinds of activist work, and eventually became the executive director of the AIDS Legal Referral Panel in San Francisco. So what does a lawyer do that loves activism and Judaism and music? Yep, my brother made the logical choice. The Kinsey Sicks occupied much of Irwin's life and heart for the next 20 plus years. And as I always said, I was just grateful it was him in the heels and dresses and not me.
It's so sad. Girls, go on without me.
But what wasn't sad was that during this time, He met the love of his life, his sweet Oren, and from there they started a big, beautiful world of family.
People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. Where children needing other children, and yet letting our grown-up pride hide all the need inside.
And now there's a brand new chapter to begin. On January 10th, 2021, Irwin will be ordained as Rabbi Irwin Elliot Keller, and with the support of his congregation Ner Shalom, he'll embark on a journey that he has longed for. We look forward to many years of leadership, love, kindness, and especially laughter. I mean, he is a Keller, of course.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome. I'm so excited to see so many people here to honor our dear Reb Irwin Keller. My name is Amy Gray, and I'm honored to serve as the president of the board of directors of Congregation Ner Shalom. First of all, thank you, Lynn Keller, Irwin's big sister, for your wonderful slideshow. What a lovely tribute to him, although I'm not sure I can unsee the image of young Irwin in clown makeup. Just a little disturbing. Irwin has been the spiritual leader of Congregation Ner Shalom since 2008. But with his ordination that took place on January 10th, he is now our rabbi. So the purpose of this event is to honor his hard work in rabbinic school and honor all the years of service he's done for us, but also to raise a few shekels to support the new rabbinic position at Ner Shalom. So now for several months, the Ner Shalom fundraising committee has been working behind the scenes to raise money for this momentous change in our synagogue life. As of today, we've raised over $160,000. I want to extend a huge thank you to everyone who has already donated. Wow, we are just overwhelmed. We're hoping that you, our beloved Zoom audience members, will help us out to raise another chunk of change to help fund this position. You'll be hearing lots more about this throughout tonight's program from our MC and our host, Ben Schatz, also known as Rachel of the Kinsey Sicks. So let me introduce Rabbi Elliot Ginsburg, who's one of Irwin's dear mentors and teachers. Rabbi Ginsburg is the Associate Professor of Jewish Thought and Mysticism at the University of Michigan, and he's on the faculty of Aleph, which is where Irwin received his ordination. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And I'm coming to you from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I am just so delighted to be here. There is a verse from the Talmud that says, Zeh hayom asa havaya nagila v'nismecha bo. This is the day that the Holy One has manifest. On it, we will take delight. We will rejoice and take great delight. And I think we are all doing that at this moment. Wherever we are present, whether it's in Santa Rosa, Petaluma, Dallas, Sonoma, Seattle, Philly, Berkeley, Sarasota, Vancouver, and just sundry places across the globe. We are here in this place in radical presence, woven together in our love and admiration for Irwin. And I just want to talk about the four reshes, the four R's in Irwin's that make up at least some of the rabbinic facets of Irwin. For 12 years plus, you're in your bar mitzvah year of being the spiritual leader and radical hope monger of Ner Shalom. And you have opened the gates of so many hearts. You have attended to people through moments on the life cycle. You are Reb Irwin. You are spiritual teacher. And I will continue to call you Reb Irwin. You're now Rav Irwin, that is Rabbi Irwin, which is a way of putting a stamp, a guspanka, as we like to say, on all that you've learned. In the learning that is ancient and draws on the deepest well springs, and the new learning, the Torah Chadasha me'itcha, they'd say, the new Torah that is being born by you and those who collaborate with you. You are also standing in an ancient tradition and bringing it forward. You are Rav also in the sense, meaning not only teacher, one of the meanings, but also multitudes. You contain worlds. All of the different parts of your life make their imprint on you and help you become the extraordinary and capacious soul that you are, able to connect with people across such wide arrays of our rainbowed being. You are also a rabbi in the sense that everyone, all of your teachers in the Aleph ordination program have said, Irwin is our rabbi. And so your name has caught up to who you are as Rabbeinu, as our teacher. And you are also a shtickle Rebbe. You are a spiritual conductor, in many senses of the word conducting, a kind of channel, a tzinor, to bring down the shefa, to bring down the light, to keep birthing, ha'efshar shebetoch ha'efshar, possibility within possibility. And finally, the fourth R, along with Reb, Rav, Rebbe, Reah. You are our Reah and our Raya, our beloved, who accompanies us on our way. And so I want to bless you, Irwin, that you continue to grow. And I want to bless your community, that you continue to lift each other up, that you continue to stretch each other, to continue to bear witness to each other, and to borrow an Irwinism, to bear witness on life's journey. May you help each other sing. Blessed are you, is this extraordinary community. Mazel tov, Rabbi. Mazel tov, Ner Shalom. Love you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Ginsburg. That was just beautiful. Now I would like to introduce our next guest, who's coming pre-recorded, is Rabbi Deborah Waxman, PhD, who is the only woman and lesbian to head a congregational union and seminary. Rabbi Waxman is the president of Reconstructing Judaism, and Ner Shalom is an affiliate of that movement. Thank you.
Rabbi Irwin Keller, Mazal Tov. I am so delighted to offer blessings and huge congratulations on this incredible achievement. So proud to call you colleague as well as friend. I'm so grateful for your leadership of Ner Shalom. and for your membership and participation in the Reconstructionist movement. Yasher Koach, I hope you soak it in. I can't wait to see you and to be in service and in leadership with you for decades to come. Mazel tov.
Congratulations, Irwin. All love, all clarity and power from Birdie Paradise in Arizona.
Mazel tov, Irwin. Congratulations. And even the dog from Windsor says congratulations. Yay!
Reb Irwin, brilliant and so caring.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for all of us.
Oh, Irwin, you've reached the top of Har Yitzchak. Spread your wings and fly.
Reb Irwin, we
love
you. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin. You earned it.
Hey, my rabbi, it's about time. We've been waiting for this for the last couple of years, I think. We love you.
Mazel tov. We're proud of you and honored to be able to have a spiritual leader like yourself. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov, Toots. You're still a gift that keeps giving. Thank you.
Good on you, lad.
Blessings.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
We love you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ben Schatz, and I'm really happy to be emceeing this event for Jewanon. Oh, no, wait, that's tomorrow's gig. I'm so happy to be emceeing this event for Rabbi Irwin and Ner Shalom. Now, the promo materials promised you performers, poets, and whatnot. And I am a whatnot, as in what not to hire is your MC, and what not to say will come out of my mouth. I first met Irwin in the 1980s when I was a young AIDS activist lawyer, and he was an old law student. In the 1990s, we were executive directors together in San Francisco. He for the AIDS Legal Referral Panel and I for the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association. And this naturally led to drag excursions, which led to our going to a Bette Midler concert in drag in 1993, which led to the accidental formation of the Kinsey Sicks, America's favorite Dragapella Beautyshop Quartet. Now, Irwin was Winnie, demented and controlling den mother, and I was Rachel, a completely unbounded and tasteless person. And I want you to know that both of those personalities were a huge stretch. And if you don't agree with that, then go screw yourself. So when Irwin asked me to MC this event, I was like, wow, have we met? But Irwin said, just be yourself. So my job tonight is to make Irwin regret it. And I thought, what better way to start out than by sharing something really humiliating about Irwin. But then I saw that 1978 graduation picture of him in Lynn's video, and I was like, my work is done. But remember, if I offend you tonight, it's Irwin's fault. Now, tonight is a free event, but it is a fundraiser. So feel free at any point while I'm droning on to click on to the chat section where you'll find a link where you can contribute, or to go to the Ner Shalom website. And I want you to know that there was no fierce debate at all, as only Jews can do, about whether or not to include a donate button on the website because maybe it's tacky. And I thought, you've hired me as the MC and now you're worrying about tacky? Okay. So then it occurred to me only like a few days before doing this event, I was like, well, why are we raising this money anyway, right? So I spoke with people at Ner Shalom, and this is what I learned. Irwin's salary sucks. And I love Irwin. I'd like him to be able to enjoy the finer things like underwear and food. Plus, here's another thing. Now that he's an ordained rabbi and no longer just a hostage of Ner Shalom, synagogues from around the world may be working to try to bring him down, to get him to hire them back in places like Belfast, Kinshasa, the Dutch Alps. Now, having gotten to know many of you from Ner Shalom and putting this together, I've got to say that Kinshasa and the Dutch Alps are looking pretty good right now. So I want to kick things off by generously offering to donate my entire salary from tonight. You're welcome. Oh, who the fuck is texting me now? Oh, it's Irwin. Ben, you agreed to do this for free. Well, then I'm going to double my salary for tonight and donate that. Speaking of which, let's check in with Stephanie. Stephanie, how are we doing on fundraising?
Hi, Ben. Hi, Irwin.
Hi,
This
Stephanie.
is Stephanie Brown, and I am coming in from the donation center for the Rebbe to Rabbi Fund in the cloud. And you can see there's people waiting for calls here. However, we're not going to be accepting calls tonight, but we are accepting donations online. And I believe that we have in the chat the click on donation button. You can go right there and make a donation. But some of you generous people have already donated tonight. And you donated when you came in for the free tickets. You said, oh yeah, sure, I'll give some money. And so that total right now is $4,190. Now we have a goal of $30,000 for tonight. So Ben, get them inspired.
It's a good start, you know, but it's time for people to, you know, instead of listening to Stephanie or me, it will be much more interesting to go onto the chat link and make a donation now. But so why don't we leave people thinking about that? And in the meanwhile, I'm going to turn it over to our next act, the fabulous and talented Zoe Lewis.
Hello, my name is Zoe Lewis, and I decided to play that little ditty because I love Irwin, and I'm sure you all do too. You're very lucky to have him as your fully ordained rabbi. Congratulations, Irwin. I remember when I came and played for Ner Shalom. You were an amazing congregation. One day I hope to return. But meanwhile, here's a little song for you that I wrote. Well, I'm from England. I've lived in the States for years. I used to celebrate Christmas in England in a traditional manner, and now I'm in love with a Jewish New Yorker, and my Christmases are very different. I used to have holly and ivy, kiss underneath the mistletoe, sing carols, drink barrels, wear festive apparels, but all that seems so long ago. I used to have turkey and stuffing, hang stockings up for St. Nick, but since I took a fancy to a girl from Delancey, my Yuletide has changed quite a bit. Now it's Peking duck for Christmas, lo mein and dumplings and tea. 'Tis the season of joy for my girl and this goy, my Shana Madel, my Yiddish Madel, my Shana Madel and me. I had shepherds, 3 kings and a manger. My nativity scene was the biz. But as soon as I saw her, I bought a menorah, and I learned that it is what it is. It seems that my cattle stopped lowing, my jingle bells all have been rung, but I'm happy as a clam in the house of Hunan, 'cause I'm here with my chosen one. Yes, it's Peking duck for Christmas, then a movie we'll see. Oh, how can this goy not putz with joy, my Shana Madel and me? Sing along! It's Peking duck for Christmas, lo mein and dumplings and tea. 'Tis the season of joy for my girl and this goy, my Shana Madel, my again. Just as a PS, last Christmas my girlfriend got me a DNA testing kit, and guess what? I'm 50% Jewish. It's Bichette.
Oh my God, isn't Zoe absolutely adorable? If adorable were a crime, she would totally be in jail. Now that we've learned that Zoe is Jewish-ish, that's a perfect motivation for people to donate to tonight's cause, because, I mean, don't we want Zoe to have a show that she can feel comfortable in when she's visiting from Massachusetts? I'm supposed to now introduce, Zoe's a friend, but there are other performers tonight who I don't really know, so I'm supposed to make some introductions. And I got to apologize. I got them at the last minute. It was over the phone. I scribbled it down. I'd had a few edibles, but I'm gonna do my best. So here we go. Okay. Alison Luterman is a highly regarded poet, essayist, and playwright. And she's known Irwin since they were both members of Queer Minion over 25 years ago. Plus, she's the winner of 3 Nobel Prizes in economics, chemistry, and astrology, and served as Secretary of Education under President Trump.
Wow. I am really even more impressive than I knew. That's awesome. Thank you, Ben, for promoting me. I'm really delighted. Yeah, I've known Irwin since the 90s. I don't remember when, but I met him, I think, in Holly and Mark's kitchen, is my, for some Queer Minion thing. That's my first memory of you, and you're already seeing Oren at that point. So I don't know what year that was, mid-90s sometime. And when we were trying to figure out what poem I would read for tonight, Irwin had rescued this poem that I wrote for these good friends of ours, Holly and Mark, when they got married. And it's a wedding poem. It's not really a becoming a rabbi poem, except that becoming a rabbi is a little bit like a wedding, because it's kind of like Irwin is marrying his vocation, like formally marrying it. And just like his marriage to Oren, he's had more than one wedding. That sort of is fitting for somebody who likes to celebrate. And just like becoming a rabbi, he's had more than one kind of milestone along the way. And so even though this is a lover committing to each other poem, think of it as a Irwin committing to his Dharma path, to the Jewish people, to Ner Shalom, to the rabbinate kind of marriage. This is wedding poem. All our lives we were longing for each other, even in the womb, even before the womb, when we were protoplasm, when we were cells of dreaming dust, when we were part of God and didn't know we were God. We were dreaming of the day we'd come to Earth again and meet each other and share a kitchen and fight over who knew the best way to make soup and say, I know you, heart of my heart, dream of my dream. Let every day be our wedding day. Let us marry each other in the grocery store and in the garden pulling weeds together. And in the car, at every stoplight, let's renew our vows. And when night falls, let's step under the chuppah of stars. And when the alarm clock rings too early in the morning, let's remember to get married again and again to the day. For a moment between lifetimes, we were separated, and it seemed you had forsaken me. Then I woke up and heard you humming in the bathroom. Your shoes were under my bed, pointed in the direction we had agreed long ago to walk together. Mazel tov, Irwin. I love you.
Thank you, Alison. Love you too.
I wanted to explain a little bit about why that poem means a lot to me. You mentioned that I rescued it. So Alison has, over her poetic career, lost several hard drives and has periodically sent out emails to friends saying, if you know any of my if you have any of my poems, could you send them to me? And this one I had because when Holly and Mark, our friends Holly and Mark from Queer Minion got married, I was one of the people officiating. And so I had all the materials from the wedding, and I loved this poem, and it meant a lot to me because it was only the second wedding I had ever officiated. And it's come to mean even more to me because I did my senior tshuva, my senior thesis in the Olive program on same-sex marriage. And in Jewish tradition, we have a particular marriage formula, and it's a formula that's based on an acquisition formula of men acquiring women into marriage. And in all of our struggle for marriage equality within both the culture and the Jewish world, we hadn't yet sort of addressed do we really want to use this language and this marital form that comes to us with that particular baggage? And so I wrote, the thesis I wrote was about using Ruth's language to Naomi: where you go, I will go; where you lodge, I will lodge; your people will be my people, and your God, my God; and where you die, there I will die, and there I will be buried. Using that as a wedding vow, which isn't as easy to, it's easy to do in sort of civil marriage, but in Jewish marriage, you have to actually talk about, well, what does it mean if you do that? And how are you bound? Like, what are the Jewish legal ramifications of that? And I had noticed that all the Jewish scholars who had written about same-sex marriage before that were all writing not from the standpoint of the actual experience of a same-sex couple. They were writing about gay people, but they weren't gay people. And this was evident in the decisions that were being made and the particular analyses that they brought. And so for me, it was really important to bring actually the experience of being bringing queer voices into the question. And it was also important to me to lead with joy. That if we're going to talk about love and we're going to talk about queer love, we have to start by talking about the joy of queer love and not about it being some side thing that we have to find a way to accommodate. And in order to lead with joy, I led with that poem. I open and close the thesis with the poem that you just heard. So it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me in my own thinking, in my own, in the work I want to do. In the Jewish world, in the world. So thank you, Alison, for that.
I'm so honored. Thank you. Thank you.
I also have the pleasure of introducing our next performer, whom many of you have seen and many of you have heard sing. But this is something, this is going to be something, hang on a second. Wait, don't go anywhere, anybody. Wait. So, okay, there we go. So over my shoulder here is how you might have recognized the two of us together in the past. And one of the things that was always a pleasure for me on the road with the Kinsey Sicks is sometimes we would end up with a bunch of time to kill between all of our tech and the performance. And we'd be backstage at some fine arts venue, and we'd be trying to sleep because we had been flying at 2 a.m. or whatever. And all of a sudden there would be Jeff playing Mozart or Beethoven or something on the piano because there would be, a concert grand piano backstage. And so the public has never gotten the joy of hearing Jeff play. It's been something that's been really a private joy of the Kinsey Sicks, and something that I'm really happy and grateful to be able to share with all of you tonight.
Thank you for introducing that as a joy, Rabbi Irwin. It has always been kind of a very private thing for me to play the piano. And when you asked me to perform tonight, I thought what a privilege it is to be able to do some kind of performance. And you suggested piano. I was actually thinking of singing instead. And
oh, actually, I would rather have that. Would you do that?
You'll have enough of vocal pyrotechnics very soon with much better vocalists. But I just wanted to share also that this piece that I'm about to play is something that
I only ever play the first 16 measures in your presence. And that's because it's the only parts I remember. And that's because I haven't played this piece in over 25 years.
I thought you were just pandering to my attention span.
And now is an opportunity for you to play, for me to play for you the entirety of this this Beethoven movement, and I'm happy to play it for you today. All my love to you, Irwin.
Love you, Jeff.
Love you too. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Mazal Tov! Irwin, we are so proud of you. Mazel tov, dear. Mwah!
Mazel tov, Irwin. Love you.
Reb Irwin, I'm quelling for you. I'm so proud of you. Love you. Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
Mazel tov, Irwin.
Mazel tov, Irwin.
Congratulations.
Mazel tov, Irwin. I'm so honored by your presence in my life. Thank you.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
Hi, Reb Irwin. Thank you for your perseverance, inspiration, and menschiness.
You are our sunshine, our only sunshine. You make us happy when skies are gray. I hope you know, Reb, how proud we all are. Please don't ever think that you can go away. Rabbi Keller, you'll always be Reb Irwin to me.
Mazel tov, Irwin. We love you.
Mazel tov, Irwin. Thank you so much for being in my life. And thank you so much for reading a year ago yesterday at my bat mitzvah.
Mazel tov, Irwin. Yay, love you.
Okay, I want to go back to Jeff's performance for a minute. Jeff, okay, two things. First of all, the choice of Beethoven was inspired. Now, many people don't know it, but Beethoven's original name was Beethovenowitz, and it was shortened at Ellis Island. But what I really want to say, Jeff, that was mind-blowing. That was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was wow. It makes me think, like, why the fuck were we singing a cappella all those years? If you had played piano, I could have maybe stayed on key, but that's all in the past. Now, Jeff will be making an appearance later on tonight.
Yes. I don't want you to stress about that. If he had played piano, you wouldn't have stayed on key.
Well, that's true. But I always had your bass to keep me off beat as well.
And off beat, yeah, thanks. Great.
Jeff is going to be appearing later tonight as with the Kinsey Sicks. So I'm sure he's actually, I guess he's not going to be changing because he is that talented. So don't miss that. In the meanwhile, let's check in with Stephanie about how we're doing for money. Stephanie, where are you now and how are we doing?
So, Ben, I'm like right here in front of the White House. And the previous owner here gave me this disguise. He said no one would recognize me if I use this disguise like the Secret Service guys do. And he was going to make a really huge pledge. But you know what? He lost his job.
Oh, yeah. And he never had any money anyway.
Ah, right. He's broke. And anyway, well, that's another story. But we really need people to donate. And we have had some donations, I'll say that, and I'll give you the number in a second, but I really want to encourage people, click on your link, give now, give till maybe here's the number now from 25 new donors. Can you read that?
Wow, it's at 6,513. That's a significant increase.
It is.
If we sit here and, what do you think? Do you think if we just keep asking, they'll give more, or if we give them more entertainment, they'll give more?
I think it's both, Ben.
Okay. Well, then maybe I should, you can click the...
This is Irwin. I'm sorry. I just need to do a little intervention. Stephanie, I don't think you're wearing your mask properly.
I'm sorry. You know, I talked to Fauci before I came, and I was really confused about what he said.
Yeah, no, yeah, he makes no sense. Yeah.
Anyway, that was very funny, Irwin. Now we're going to run late, and it's your fault. I'm going to do another. Oh, yes. Okay, so listen, while we're kibitzing, you should all be contributing either at the chat link or at the nershalom.org website. You've got two choices. You can give on both. Now I'm going to do another introduction. Okay.
Hey, Reb Irwin, isn't 6,513 the number of mitzvot?
In a way.
Now I want to introduce Jessi, so shut up. Jessi Roemer is a cantor who is a friend of Irwin's, a musical collaborator. That part isn't funny. It's true. We'll get to the funny part in a minute. She's a friend of Irwin's, a musical collaborator, and a fellow traveler on the renewal Jewish journey. She is also a world-renowned expert on the mating rituals of walruses and is a proud legal partner of Rudy Giuliani. Take it away, Jessi.
Thanks for the added credentials, boy. Well, I have to say that when Irwin wrote to me asking to offer something for tonight, you know, I had this thought like, oh, I'm gonna write a song for Irwin, and you know, at the moment I'm having a little bit of buyer's remorse because after listening to Zoe and Jeff, now you have to listen to my shitty piano playing. But nonetheless, I did write you a song. My Irwin, my co-conspirator in adventures and endeavors, both sacred and profane. When I sat down to write about all the things I admire about you, I realized very quickly that I couldn't do that without coming off like sounding like a fangirl. Well, the fangirl that I am, but I suspect that I'm not alone here in this Zoom room tonight. So I'm sure everyone agrees that among the myriad incredibly talented qualities you have and hats you wear, one of your amazing qualities is that of being a people gatherer. Witness tonight and witness this whole congregation of fangirls amassed to tell you how much we love you and to be here with you to support you and witness you in this moment while, as Reb Elliot says, your title finally catches up with you. So with that, I offer you my humble little song.
Oh, Irwin. You are the Balabusta icon of my aching heart. You start to daven and my kishkas always fall apart, fall apart. Irwin, you are the raisins in my tzimmus and my honey cake. You're a machaya like a mikvah on a sunny day, sunny day. Oh, Irwin, the things you say. Irwin,
That was great. And Jessi, I want to tell you, I heard that song before. We had a rehearsal. Believe it or not, this was actually rehearsed, and that song has stuck with me. It's really catchy, and those chords at the end are really kind of disturbing. But then I realized what that is. That is the sound of people's guilt for not having given enough money to this fundraiser tonight. And so I want to urge people to get rid of that disturbing feeling by clicking on the chat link and giving more money. Now there are some special things coming up. Irwin is going to make some remarks. And now that he is being paid as a rabbi, they will be at least 18% more inspiring. Plus, there's going to be a world premiere of a Kinsey Sicks video, lyrics by me, and yet in spite of that, it's actually good. So you're going to want to stick around for that. But in the meanwhile, I know what you're thinking. This makes me want to give. So go ahead and give. And in the meanwhile, we're going to give you a little surprise for Irwin.
Hi there. I'm Kevin Smith Kirkwood, and I could not be prouder and happier to be here tonight to celebrate Rabbi Irwin Keller. I'm so proud to know you. I think about, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Kevin, and I have the honor and pleasure of touring with the Kinsey Sicks as Trixie 2.0 in, I guess, 2002 to 4, or 2, 3, 4, something like that. The dates aren't important. But what I think about is the times that I spent listening to Irwin and listening to your stories and learning lessons from you and laughing with you. I love your spirit and your heart. I know that this community knows how lucky they are to have you. I think about my time in the group, and I'm looking through all my pictures and memories, and I found this, which is my favorite one. It's a portrait of the four of us, and it actually was your last gift to me as I left the group. But the best gift that you've given me is the years of friendship, even since my time in the group. And again, I could not be prouder of you and happier to know you. And I thought about our friendship and what song I should sing, and this song came to my heart. So I hope you love it. And I never thought I'd feel this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad I got the chance to say that I do believe I love you. And if I should ever go away, well then close your eyes and try to feel the way we do today. And then if you can remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Well, you came and opened me, and now there's so much more I see. And so by the way, I thank you. Oh, and then for the times when we're apart, well then close your eyes and know these words are coming from my heart. And then if you can remember, you remember, keep smiling, keep shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side shining, knowing you can always count on me for sure. That's what friends are for good times and bad times. I'll be on your side forevermore. That's what friends are for. Keep smiling, keep shining. Believe you can count on me for sure. Believe me, 'cause that's what friends are for. Yeah, we love you.
Hi, Irwin. Congratulations and mazel tov on achieving this huge milestone in becoming a rabbi. You've put in the time and dedication, and my family and I are so proud of you. Cheers to a better and brighter new year. Mazel tov, Irwin.
Hey, Irwin. It's Riley. I just wanted to say congrats on the ordination, and I know you'll keep inspiring people.
Hi, Irwin. Rebecca here. Congratulations on your achievement. Thank you for everything that you have taught me. I appreciate it, and good luck.
Hey, Irwin, congrats on your accomplishment. You meant a lot to me when I was having my bar mitzvah, and I'm very excited for you and your future.
That was lovely. Really lovely. That was a surprise for Irwin. I think Irwin didn't know that was coming. Those were people who, I believe it was people who Irwin supervised in terms of their B'nai Mitzvah. I want to go back to Kevin, because Kevin, girl, you are a talent. Oh, I remember when he auditioned for us for our off-Broadway show. We were like, why do you want to be with us? But okay. Kevin was too modest to say that he left the Kinsey Sicks to become a Broadway star in such hits as Kinky Boots and Spelling Bee. Proving that with the Kinsey Sicks, the more talented you are, the faster you got the hell out. I was the last to leave. Irwin was the second last to leave. Oh, that moment of self-awareness was kind of depressing. So let's change the subject. Stephanie, where are you now and how are we doing for money? Oh.
I'm pulling out the Italian so that you can see that we are here at the Leaning Tower. And you know what? Here is where we are right now. However, if we don't get enough donations, they are telling me that the Leaning Tower could go straight. Well, we don't want that to happen, do we? So I am putting the $500 challenge. Can you see that? That is, whoever could make a $500 donation will get a special mention, or if they don't want to be mentioned, we won't mention them. But you know, a $500 would be such a mitzvah.
You've switched from Italian accent to an Israeli one, but you go, keep going.
I don't know how to do that, but anyway, we go back and forth. I can even do it at Brooklyn if you want me to go into that. We'll have some coffee, make a $500 donation. Come on now. We got to take the number up. Numbers got to go up.
I think people are leaning towards giving, so I think that's a good thing. I'm encouraged. Let's see if we can get that number up, folks. In the meanwhile, I think it's time for me to do another intro, yeah? Okay. Now it is time for the Kinsey Sicks, which Irwin, oh, look, my cat's in the background. Oh, both of them are. That's Blanca and that's Blanche. Anyway, that's besides the point. It's time for the Kinsey Sicks. Irwin and I were co-founders along with Maurice Kelly, who will be appearing later on tonight, and the late Jerry Friedman and the late Abato Avilés. We formed the group in 1993 after going to a Bette Midler concert in drag. And Irwin, as you know, was Winnie and I was Rachel. And we both left the group, but we both continued to contribute in our own ways. I write the lyrics, and because of that, I now live a life of luxury on the royalties I would be earning if the group were able to be touring, but they're not. So, and Irwin also contributed. He designed a beautiful Kinsey Sicks t-shirt, which is still used. And in fact, I'm gonna have a little show and tell, a little strip tease music. Da 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 da. Oh, my back! Damn it! I should have thought about that. Anyway, isn't this shirt beautiful? Designed by Irwin, and for every t-shirt sold, Irwin gets $0 in royalties. So you really should contribute, because Irwin's already been screwed over by one group he worked with. So, and now the Kinsey Sicks.
We've joked in the Kinsey Sicks about our characters being our therapy issues. And I think that in lots of ways our characters are exaggerations of some of our own characteristics, and also exaggerations of what we fear we might become.
You started out more in our shadows. You tidied up while singing bass. You were content with keeping time on good days. But then you taught us all to shine. So Rachel got stuck with all the stories. How Bette Midler's concert gave us strength. About early joys and later pain, they made us strong. And how we chose our fucking name. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. It isn't moral, but it's legal for you to move on to other things. You may have thought we never noticed, but you've been the one who gives us heart. You try to make us less uncouth. What a waste of time. Still, we would be nothing without you. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. We'll miss your wit, your quirks, your seagulls that you've taken in beneath your wings. Do you want a nosh? Hey, it's a hero. It's vegetarian. You wanna see? Oh, and who thinks that hero rhymes with eagle? Who rides the crab that Midler sings? You are the wind beneath our wings. Fly, fly, fly away. Have 20 years gone by? Oh, fly, fly. Too soon to say goodbye.
Girls, let me in the video.
Oh God, it's Ben.
Just ignore him. Maybe he'll go away.
Let me in the damn video. I put on this fucking t-shirt under the guise of honoring Irwin, so the least you can do is let me in.
I'll do it.
Hi,
Irwin, I asked to be in this video because, Well, when you told me you were leaving the group to become a rabbi, I was kind of stunned, and it was hard for me. But I see now that you are so in your element and you're so happy, and it makes me happy. And I don't want you to give it even another thought that your spiritual path has completely ruined my life. Completely. I mean, you left me stuck touring with these pathetic, no-talent bitches. No offense, girls.
Not taken.
Oh, which is bad enough under normal circumstances, right? But try touring with them to the shitholes of America. An unheated barn in Wisconsin in the winter. Whitefish, Montana. What are you supposed to spread it on rye bread? Oh, and Katati. Oh, no offense, Katati. Of course, Katati is no longer a shithole because Katati has a real rabbi. Well, good for you, Katati. Because of you, I had to stop performing because I couldn't stand another day of the Shitholes with Schmucks tour. So enjoy Irwin, Katati. Don't worry that your happiness came at my expense, Katati. In fact, Katati, why don't you take your happiness and shove it up your...
No, thank you! Thank you, thank you, thank God for you, Irwin beneath our wings.
That was lovely, girls. Oh, now the Kinsey Sicks asked me not to mention that you can book them or buy their albums, DVDs, magnets, posters, and t-shirts at kinseysicks.com. So I won't mention it. Instead, I'm going to introduce our next performer. Larry Robinson is a friend of Irwin's, a potter, a poet, a retired psychotherapist, and a recovering politician. Poet, potter, politician, psychotherapist. That's a lot of P. Oh, speaking of which, when am I going to get a break? Anyway, formerly known as Jackie, Mr. Robinson was the first Black player to integrate Major League Baseball. Mr. Robinson was also married to Anne Bancroft in The Graduate.
So I don't have Alison's chops with writing poetry, so I'm going to rely on the words of Stephen Spender to speak of my profound admiration and love for Irwin. He says, I think continually of those who were truly great, who from the womb remembered the soul's history through corridors of light, where hours are suns, endless and singing, whose lovely ambition was that their lips still touched by fire should speak of the spirit clothed from head to foot in song, and who hoarded from the spring branches the desires falling across their bodies like spring blossoms. What is precious is never to forget the delight of the blood drawn from ancient springs breaking through rocks in worlds before our earth. Never to deny its pleasure in the simple morning light, nor its evening's grave demand from love. Never to allow the traffic gradually to smother with noise and smog the flowering of the spirit. Near the snows, near the sun, in the highest fields, see how these names are feted by the waving grass, by the streamers of white clouds and the whispers of wind in the listening sky. The names of those who in their lives fought for life, who held at their hearts the fire's center. Born of the sun, they traveled a short while toward the sun and left the vivid air signed with their honor. Mazel tov, Irwin, I love you.
That was really beautiful, very moving. I swear I lost 50 pounds listening to it. And 50 pounds, if you look at the exchange rates, is about equivalent to $68 US, which would be a fine amount for people to contribute right now by going to the chat link or going onto Ner Shalom's website. But speaking of money, hey Stephanie, how are we doing and where are you now?
So, you know, I'm supposed to be filling in for Stephanie because, you know, she said, I got to take a pee break like Ben needs to. Anyway, we have got an incredible new number, Ben.
Wow.
You know why?
Because people are generous?
2 $500 donors, 2, Ben.
Seriously?
Yes, and
Are they single?
Wait, what's this word? Anonymous donors.
One of them was me.
And so we're continuing our $500 challenge.
Wow.
So talk it up, Ben.
Yeah, you know, this really is the Zoom where it happens. So keep on giving, folks. We're on a roll here, and it's not a Kaiser roll. So keep on going. In the meanwhile, I have another. Oh, do you have something else you want to add? Go for it. $500 challenge.
I just wanted to say that where do they go? They go to their chat.
They do. And there's a handy link, or they can go to the Ner Shalom site. They can do either or both, whichever makes them happy.
Right.
I agree. So you can do it right now because there's some great stuff coming up. Should I go into what's happening next, or do you want to pitch some more?
No, I think we should go. You could twist arms. Can you do that via Zoom? Twist arms?
Sure. I'll twist my own. There we go. Okay, so back to the show. We have a special treat. Another co-founder of the Kinsey Sicks, who created the character of Trixie, and who, like her, shuns the limelight and is always underdressed and understated. Until the last minute, we didn't know if we were going to be able to get him. But now, thanks to a last-minute pardon from President Trump, I am pleased to present the pride of Piscataway, Maurice Kelly.
Well, you know how the rest of that one goes. To my dear friend Irwin, I am so proud of you on this next chapter in your life as Rabbi Keller. Rabbi Keller has a fabulous ring to it. So knowing what language geeks you and I are, I thought I'd take a little minute to tell you how I feel on this special occasion. Complimenti! Gongsini, gratuluję, hongera. Herzlichen Glückwunsch. Satsugyo omedetou gozaimasu. Félicitations. Gratulon. Parabéns. Binabati kita. Felicitaciones. And of course, Mazal Tov.
These special moments that only the Kinseys will understand. Just say, I'm not going to fix that. I'm just rubbing it in people's faces. Okay, moving on.
Well, here's some moments we will understand, Irwin, because we have some of the performers from the Good Shabbos Band.
Slow down.
That are going to be presenting tonight, and one is video and one is live. So the video is from two members of the Good Shabbos Band, and that is Sheridan and Susie, and they will be followed by a live performance from Lorenzo.
The musicians arrive, instruments in hand. Don't you know? It's the Good Shabbos Band. Ready for our musical dialogue in the old brown shingled synagogue. Reb Irwin comes down from his upstairs retreat, words of Torah paused as he greets to meet us with hugs and kisses hello. No one can wait to get into the flow. Heartbeats quicken in anticipation, warming up for our collaboration. Turning on the sound system, set stands and chairs, sharpen pencils and intentions, turn music into prayers. The rehearsal begins.
Chords, melodies, improvisation, co-conspirators in co-creation, finding inspiration in the words and notation, and a frequent flirtation with fine Hebrew pronunciation. Drumming, humming, chanting with the shruti, swaying to the rhythms flowing from the fluty. Adjusting, tweaking, repeating, fine-tuning, drums, beat, hearts, beat, soulful crooning. Weaving our many-colored musical cloth, or maybe we're brewing a musical broth. One way or the other, we're opening hearts. Reb Irwin at our center. We each do our parts. The service begins.
An opening nigun in the very first slot, inviting in Shekhinah and Shabbat. Strumming guitars, vibrating strings, rising energy, everyone sings. Lighting candles, blessings sung. We climb the Shabbat ladder, rung by rung. Songs for peace, a healing balm. Every Shabbat's yearning for tikkun olam. Smiles, nods, and knowing glances. From our hearts, the music dances. And we look outward at our loving congregation, and they look back. Twinkling fingers shimmer with appreciation. The service ends.
At the end of the night, it's hard to let go, but we'll all remember, and we all know that you lead from within, dear Irwin, our core. We'll always return because it's you we adore. Your energy, vulnerability, and creativity as well. You are the one who gets us to gel. And now, since March, we've been only on Zoom, still making music, just not in the same room.
Our pandemic recordings, 'tis true, will live on forever. And though we are blue, that we sit not next to each other, but clearly afar, we are united in music with you at our core.
Though none of us would trade Zoom for a Friday rehearsal and sitting with you in our band's semicircle, it's good enough for now, and we are grateful.
With you at our core, Rabbi, Reb I, with you at our core, inspiring us, guiding us, we always want more.
So last year for High Holy Day services, the first Zoom High Holy Day services, Leiah Bowden and I wrote a tune for Reb Irwin to place during the service at his convenience. And it's called Beyond a Wonder. And that's how we think about our Reb Irwin. When I call you into daylight, when you know you are the sun, when you know no name for calling, when you know you are the one, you will know beyond a wonder in the fullness of your sight. I'm the thunder in your heartbeat and the whisper in the night. when I look for you to find me, when angels are your delight, when overflowing beauty becomes your soul in flight, you will know beyond a wonder in the fullness of your sight. I'm the thunder in your heartbeat and the whisper in the night. In the fullness of your dreaming, a river you become, washing me as sacred, holding me in love. Oh, how we shine together, your radiance, my home, to open me to knowing the seeds that I have sown. When you glow in rising moonlight, when your loving breathes the world, when you rise above the darkness, when your soaring life unfurls, you will know beyond a wonder in the fullness of your sight. I'm the thunder in your heartbeat and the whisper in the night. When I call you into daylight, when you know you are the sun, when you know no name for calling, when you know you are the one, you will know beyond a wonder in the fullness of your sight. I'm the thunder in your heartbeat and the whisper in the night. I'm the thunder in your heartbeat and the whisper in the night. First time live, egads. So it's my pleasure to now introduce our beloved rabbi's lesser half, Reb Irwin Keller of Haifa, son of Rafka and Michelle, Michael, descendants of the great rabbis Chaim and Shlebatsky. Take it.
No corona here?
Yes, it's safe.
Oi. It is an honor to be here at Itzik's Rabbit to Rabbi's celebration. Oi.
Reb to Rabbi.
Oh, that explains it. It is an honor to be here at Itzik's Rabbi to Rebbetzin celebration.
Reb to
No, whatever. I've known my Itzik since he was a young, pitsy, sweet darling, a neshoime at 34 years old. He spoke the language of our ancestors. So no, how could you resist someone that speaks classical and Neo-Aramaic? I was in love. I knew it was meant to be. It took some time for him to be a kosher one. First, he was act-upping. Then he would take his mother's shaitel, and he was act-outing. And finally, he started acting under a tallis like a good Yiddish boy. And this wasn't any Yiddish boy, let me tell you. He heard voices of Malochim, angels. There was Raphael in front, Ariel behind, Sujiel on his right, Anel on his left. Let me tell you, a minion of angels. And of course, Marilyn L. What an angel. She watched over him, guided him, and protected him. He is an angel, not a man. An angel. No. And finally, he's a rabbi. Shkoyach. And in honor of this man and his mishpuche and his kehile, I want to sing a song in the international language of l'amour. Litvak Yiddish, a song from my childhood in the Lower East Side of Sonoma Mountain. It was a dark and stormy night, and all the single ladies, 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 single ladies, single ladies, oi!
Turn on your sound.
Irwin has been following a thread his whole life from his Jewish Asuri summer camp in Economawalk through his Ner Shalom in Katari. I've been for half of the journey. And it has been a blessed vision to see him grow with his communities, all the time keeping a balance of ahava, love, avodah, gemilut chasadim, service, and Torah, wisdom. Over to you, Rabbi Keller.
So many surprises tonight, and you're all going to be hearing from me with my gratitude for all of them. And I know we're running behind, and in part it's because of my harassing Ben. And but if you have other important COVID era engagements that you have to run off to, feel free. So I was asked to say a little bit about my journey, my rabbinic journey, and I will say just a little bit because I've already talked about this in a number of places, including here at Ner Shalom. But I do want to first express how humbled and grateful I feel to be connected to all of the wonderful, thoughtful, skillful, soulful people in this Zoom room. My journey to the rabbinate began in childhood, but it continues because of all of you. It is in your arms, your support that I rest. It is being met by such kindred spirits that keeps me searching and questioning and bursting into song. So, my journey to the rabbinate, in some ways, it began from the moment I was lucky enough to be born into my particular family, a loving group with grandparents, and as Lynn said, with great-grandparents that we knew, and a Judaism that was warm and laughter-filled, heavy on heart and light on dogma. I felt the call to be a rabbi when I was in third grade. It didn't grow out of any clear idea of what the profession would entail, but out of the desire to learn and learn and learn and to be immersed in the Judaism that I knew and the Judaism of my family and my ancestors. It was a delicate and breathless desire. It periodically got commodified when my parents would use it for bragging rights. Tell cousin Elaine what you want to be when you grow up. And I would mumble, Rabbi, as the grown-ups all smiled at each other in astonishment. It was in the Jewish world that I found my deepest friendships, relationships that are now 4.5 decades old, and you know who you are, and you are in this room tonight. And when some of these peers were looking to the rabbinate, so did I. But by now I had begun to come out of the closet, and there was no place for openly gay rabbinical students in Cincinnati or anywhere else. So I followed other paths, all well documented, where I felt I could be of use. But even when pursuing other paths, my Jewish longings would not let me go. I continued to be encouraged by my childhood rabbi, Marcus Shapiro, the person who defined for me what a rabbi could and should be. In graduate school, it was Rabbi Danny Leifer of blessed memory at the University of Chicago, who risked his own job to make sure that I could create a queer Jewish discussion group at Hillel. Truth is, I have been encouraged by everyone along the way, and that is one of the great blessings of my life. In the 1990s, I read The Jew in the Lotus about a delegation of Jewish leaders who met with the Dalai Lama to discuss survival and exile. The liveliest parts of the book were about Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalomi and his mystical dialogues with the Dalai Lama. Jewish renewal began coming into focus because of that book. And then after meeting Oren, I found myself in Queer Minyan that Alison Luterman mentioned, where we met in San Francisco and Berkeley, a minyan that married Jewish renewal and pagan practices and enlivened us all. In 2004, I signed up for an Aleph retreat where I got to study intensively with Rebbe Elliot, who has become my mentor and my greatest teacher and my friend, and Rabbi Marcia Prager, and Reb Zalman himself, and the long-banked desire for the rabbinate flamed up again. But I was a full-time touring drag queen at that point, and there was no way to maintain that and go back to school. At last, I reached the conclusion that I would not be a rabbi in this lifetime. But still, things happened. My friend and mentor, Cantor Corey Winter, threw me high holy day cantorial gigs. And then Ner Shalom, a small community I joined not to be its rabbi, but because it was close to my house. It was circumstance, it was fate, it was bashert. It was certain people in this room who pushed me into increasing leadership until 2008, when we were careening toward the high holy days with no rabbi in the bag. And I said, let me just cover it. And I did. And I was invited to come on staff as spiritual leader while still touring as a singing drag queen. And then people started showing up at Ner Shalom because Ner Shalom was the shul that had a singing drag queen rabbi. That got a lot of new people in the door, but they brought the real goods with them, the music and the poetry and the mysticism and the open hearts and the soulful exploration and the fun. So that now people join here because this community is so vibrant and creative and out of the box and embracing. And they only hear the singing drag queen story a little bit after the fact. And so here I am, and here all of you are, and it's a new era starting for all of us. For me and Ner Shalom, it's a recommitment to each other, an opening to what might happen next. And now that we serve an international community through Zoom, anything could happen next. So I want to thank all of you who have received me in this role, and all of you who sent me here, including the Kinsey Sicks, who carried me for 21 years, full of laughter and song, and made it possible for me to return to this calling with such overflowing joy in my heart that I wouldn't have had if I had become a rabbi in my 20s. Gratitude to all of you at Ner Shalom, all of you who have been fellow students and travelers in the Aleph world. Gratitude to all of my cousins, my friends, my sister, my husband, my co-parents who are all here tonight, for standing by me through a difficult and long journey, for readjusting your lives so that I could have this life that I am so blessed to live. Okay, so among the perks of studying in the Aleph program is, well, I'll tell a story a different way. When I started doing this work and started getting excited about the music that we could make at Ner Shalom, and musicians began showing up. So that we had Lorenzo and Sheridan and Susie and Atzila and Amy and Jeff and the Anne Marie and Sophie and Amelia. We had so many people showing up, and Suzanne at the center of it. So many people showing up to sing and make music, and I began looking for music that we could do. And my friend Rabbi Eitan Weiner-Kaplow, who's also in the room tonight, said, "Have you heard this group Navati Ilah?" And he played me Navati Ilah. And I came back to Ner Shalom and I said, and before I could say it, Susie Stonefield Miller said, "Have you heard this group Navati Ilah?" And so we started noticing their music, and they represent a Jewish renewal community in Jerusalem. And before too long, I was studying with their rabbi, Rabbi Ruth Gon-Kagan. It's one of my teachers. And I was friends with and classmates with Yoel from the group, and became really good friends with Daphne Rosenberg, who is at the center of the musical and is sort of the musical and spiritual heart of Navati Ilah. And so I would like to introduce Daphne now to offer some music.
This day that you've been waiting for such a long time, for your smicha, finally has arrived. Hine zeba. I wish you to be a be'er mayim chayim, a fountain, a well of living water for yourself, for your family, for your community, to always be there and bring more and more mayim, shefa, abundance into the world from your unbelievable wisdom. And in those moments when the well might dry up a little bit, may you always have that strong connection with the divine to bring the love, the power, the creativity, and the joy that you have into the world. I love you so much. Mazal
Let's
Mazal tov! Mazal tov, Rabbi!
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin. We celebrate you and we celebrate your achievement. Mwah.
Irwin, Mazal tov. You are loved.
Irwin, so many blessings. I love you. We're so appreciative. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov!
Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin Keller. That has such a nice ring to it.
Hi, Irwin. We are so happy and honored to have you now as our rabbi, and we know you will continue to inspire us. Mazel tov.
Rabbi Irwin, we love you. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Okay.
May you go from strength to strength. Mazel tov, Rabbi Irwin.
Irwin, I'm kvelling for you, but I also want to get dressed up. Love you. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. So proud of you. So thrilled to be working with you.
Irwin, we love you even though you are a rabbi now.
And we love you whether you're a rabbi or not, and we love that you're a rabbi. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. And I can hardly wait to see what's next.
Mazel tov! We're so happy for you! Congratulations, Irwin! Congratulations!
There we go. Now the moment you've all been waiting for, my final fundraising pitch. Yay! So there was something I was going to say, but I want to say something first, which is this event is filled with such heart and such love and such talent and such integrity, and it makes it hard to be funny because I'm so moved, and that's a testament to you, Irwin, and to the community that you have helped to build. And so I'm so happy for all of you. So now here's the part I was planning on saying. My mom is watching tonight. She's 94 years old. She's on a fixed income. She's an atheist. She hasn't been in a synagogue since ever. And she's donating. So please don't humiliate me in front of my mommy. I mean, hasn't she suffered enough? So here's your chance, people. Go with the inspiration that you've been feeling, and just here's your chance. Go to the chat link or go to the website at NER, the nerve if you don't give. SHA, it's a Shanda. LOM.org. So Stephanie, where are you now? And how are we doing? Ooh.
Well, Ben, we have traveled all the way to Israel in honor of Navatahila. And we are here at Masada, which was one of the strongholds of our people who were steadfast.
It doesn't have a very happy ending, does it?
Well, no, but that's beside the point. We're going to make this a happy ending. And you know what? Right now, you don't
mean that in the massage sense, do you? A happy ending. I don't think that's, I mean, that would be too Jeffrey Toobin for this event. So, let's keep it clean.
I'm nothing if not clean, Ben. So here is our number right now. However, wait a minute. What?
Wait. We have a $2,000 donor.
A $2,000 donor? Are you freaking kidding me? Oh my God, our new number.
It fell off.
Wait a minute. Irwin, we didn't have a lot of money to spend on this. So where are we here? 12,000. Ben, can you read that?
It says $12,880. That's pretty. People have been giving. Wow, that's really amazing. And
we really have.
Masada. I mean, I sort of, we'll talk about that one later. But thank you all for giving. Don't forget, you can continue to give. Do you have anything else you want to add, or shall I?
I do, because we're going to have a final check-in. in just a few moments when this is over. Is it ever going to be over? No, when this is over. This is such a beautiful tribute. I'm joking. I'm loving every minute of it. But when it's over, we will have a final check-in. And so please give now, please.
Yes, you want to count to the big number. So just ignore me and go to the chat link or go to the nershalom.org.
Wait, we just got another $1,000. So I have to change this, but I don't have the technology here right now, but it should be 13,880.
Well, look at those. I mean, you got to admire those high-tech visuals.
Well, we're going to sell this to Caltrans to make it a sign for I-880.
Oh, yes, exactly. Okay, so I want to introduce our next act, and that is my dear friend and former colleague, Chris Dilley, who's coming to us from New York. He played trampolina for 9 years with the Kinsey Sicks, and his amazing talent as a singer. He didn't mention songwriter, but songwriter is also there. Vocal arranger and teacher is matched only by his remarkable feats of gastric distress on airplanes. So,
it's funny because it's true.
Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say. But take it away, Chris.
Thank you for ending with that, Ben. So nice of you. Irwin, I love you so much. I'm so thrilled to be here. And I think you all already know this, but if you are ever stuck in a rental SUV driving through a snowstorm, looking for a hotel and a venue in a state that you've never been to before, with a trunk full of luggage filled with drag, Irwin is definitely one of the people you want in that car, because Irwin will help you figure it out and make you laugh while he's doing it. And then when you get to the hotel, and the hotel is a little unseemly, we will walk to the front desk, dread in our hearts, and the woman behind the desk will say, "Do you have reservations?" And Irwin will say, "Why, yes, we do. But I think we're going to stay here anyway." It's my favorite. I had to say it. And just knowing that all of your incredible, it's a little rude how talented you are. And just the fact that you're using all of these incredible talents and that big heart of yours and that humor of yours to gather people and inspire really adds to the wonderfulness in this world. So this one's for you. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see friends waving high, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Love you, love you, love you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Love you.
Wow. Beautiful, Chris. And the singing too. What an event. I'm really sad that we're drawing to an end. I would like this to keep on going, but I know that others would differ. But first, let's check in with Stephanie, and then I'll have some final remarks. What do you want to tell us, Stephanie? Or maybe you don't. Maybe that was not scheduled here.
Oh no, it's scheduled. I just was trying to get the last number. So hang on a second.
This is a good problem. This is a very good problem.
It is a fabulous problem. In fact, if somebody wants to make a donation right now, we could take this number even higher. I'm going to keep this like down here until I get a chance to clear my screen here.
Problems. We want more problems.
These are good problems, aren't they? And we are back at the Cloud, at the Ner Shalom Donation Center in the Cloud. And
17186.
I don't have the most current number, but we're going to have to add a little bit to this.
We just heard it whispered.
Well, that's because my tabulator here, who shall remain anonymous, is staying anonymous, but he is going to give us a drum roll. But can you hold on? Can you just stall for a minute? Let me get the new number.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. I want to tell an Irwin story. This is one that I was shocked. So shortly after 9/11, as you all remember, airport security was really tight. And I remember one time we were walking through the airport shortly after 9/11, and there was a female police officer frisking a woman who had just passed through security. And Irwin, who was still in Winnie mode, said, "Get a room." And I was like, oh. I thought I was the inappropriate one. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
I mean, to be fair, we had plenty of airport experiences, including the time that you realized that you had left your wig at TSA, and we raced back to find a bomb squad about to defuse Rachel's do.
Yeah, we have a lot of stories which we many of which I'm grateful that I'm not the one who's. Is this like I'm trying to figure out if this is like an honoring or a roast or like some combination. Is it a funeral? I mean, so it's a wedding. It's like this thing. This must be completely overwhelming, Irwin.
It's really most like a bris.
Well, you always wore a cut above.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the tip, right?
Wait, Ben.
Yes.
God has spoken. He came from Sistine Chapel, and he has spoken. He, she, it, they, we, whatever pronoun you want to use. And we need a drum roll.
This is actually the Stonefield Chapel. STSISTEIN.
What was that?
It wasn't worth it. Go on.
No, say that again, and then we'll have another drum roll.
Okay, so this is the Sistine Chapel, but it's actually Sistine, SISTEIN. Go on.
All right, should we have another drum roll? My husband is dying to do this.
Sure. I would like a drum roll, please.
Okay, another drum roll, please. And our new number is, holy moly,
17,186. That's fantastic.
It's like God themselves has given us this number.
Excellent. Well, people can continue to give over the, if there's just a little bit more that's going to happen, I'm going to just close it up a little bit here. But so you can raise that number. We just won't be announcing it, but it'll be known. It'll be known in some way, shape, or form.
We'll make it known for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So first of all, Chris, that was gorgeous. That was lovely. So thank you for that. I'm glad you were last. We are, as I often said with the Kinsey Sicks, it has been an honor and a privilege for you to watch me tonight. But I know, seriously, it really has been an honor and a privilege. And this is an amazing event filled with heart and talent. And the people who organized this event have been wonderful and a delight in spite of everything you've heard. Now, as for Irwin, what a mensch, what an amazing man. What an amazing community. What a beautiful event. Thank you for allowing me to be part of it. There's no one I've ever enjoyed performing with more than I've enjoyed performing with Irwin. And I still harbor the hope that in a decade or two, we'll tour the country with a show called Old Jews in Conversation. But until then, Ner Shalom, he's yours. So make the most of your incredible good fortune. Mazel tov, Irwin. Mazel tov, Ner Shalom.
Thank you, Ben. You're my beloved and my my sibling for decades, and I'm grateful to you for saying yes to this tonight. And yeah, we can tour again in the future. I'm just going to wait for you to finish rabbinical school. So I would like to thank everyone who donated tonight or leading up to tonight in honor of my rabbinate, who have donated in order to help us create a sustainable rabbinic position at Ner Shalom for now and for years to come. I want to say that we're also, before I begin these other thank yous, we're opening up the chat now. If you want to say things in the chat, feel free to. So I want to thank Amy Gray, our president, Ner Shalom president, who had the idea of doing this. She has done telethons before, as you can tell. Amy, thank you for pulling this all together. Show development, the team that worked so many hours, Stephanie Brown, Amy Gray, Rita Rowan, and Ben Schatz. Video production, beloved Doron Hovav, my brother-in-law. Audio production, Suzanne Shanbaum. The Zoom tech team with Suzanne Shanbaum, Doron Hovav, Leiah Bowden, and Cindy Norwitz. Promotion was done by Leiah Bowden and Sherry Brenner. Administration was handled by Vicki Allen and Paige Hotchkiss Needleman. And I want to thank all of the people that appeared tonight: Stephanie Brown, Zoe Lewis, Alison Luterman, Jeff Manabat, Jessi Roemer, Kevin Smith Kirkwood, the Kinsey Sicks as a collective, Larry Robinson, Maurice Kelly, Susie Miller and Sheridan Gold, Lorenzo Valensi, Oren Slasberg, Daphne Rosenberg, Chris Dilley, and all of the members of Congregation Ner Shalom who offered their wishes in video format. Thank you all for, oh, there's more, wait. I pushed some people to the end because I wanted to give special to my sister, Lynn Keller, for putting together that beautiful video of our childhood, of our life together and this journey. To my teacher, Rebbe Elliot Ginsburg, thank you, Elliot, for being here and for blessing us all with your presence. And I hope that we get to see more of you here at Ner Shalom. Rabbi Deborah Waxman, thank you so much for speaking to us and for being such a supportive presence for Ner Shalom. And again, my beloved Ben Schatz, you are a hero. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, dira dirim, baruch umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, gedol gedolim, tagul umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, hadur hadurim, vatik umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, zakai zakaim, hanun umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, tehorim, yashar umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, kabir kabirim, la'ad umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, melech melachim, nora umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, somech somechim, ozer umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, podet yeduyim, tzadik umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, kedosh kedoshim, rahum umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem Adonai. Hallelujah, shomer shomerim, tomech umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, adir adirim, baruch umehulal Adonai. Hallelujah, 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 Shem 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 Adonai. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.